Dog Motorsports is the latest, most creative, and important invention for working dog breeds in many years, with the opportunity for all dogs, regardless of breed, size, or age, to get involved with. Dog Motorsports are electric-powered bikes and rigs that dogs can be exercised with in a variety of ways, depending on your goals, the area you're at, and time. Virtually no training is required, and high-energy breeds can be exercised properly, quickly, and efficiently without spending hours on end trying to satisfy them, or as I like to say, tucker them out. I'm Bill WooFDriver Hellman, also known as the Dog Adventurer, and have pioneered the whole concept of dog motorsports and have proven it with multiple generations of Huskies, constantly refining it and perfecting it for almost 30 years now. This is something you have to actually see to believe. As a WooFDriver, I travel the East Coast of the USA with my Huskies, doing dog motorsports on trails, roads, beaches, and even in the cities. Check out the latest dog motorsports video coming up right now. Hey, welcome to another episode of WooFDriver's Workshop. And the last episode we reviewed the Swing Car, which is one of the most capable vehicles I have. When I say capable, I mean can go pretty much anywhere on Earth. I mean, you could probably take that thing to the Antarctica. You probably could take that to any mountain in Colorado. More capable, I'm going to say, than a lot of ATVs. It's a pretty incredible machine. Running a close second, maybe right up there with it, is what we call the EZRaider scooters. I call them scooters. I don't know if they call them personal movers. They're really designed for the Israeli military. They were designed in Israel. And this actually happens to be kind of like the Swing Car I just reviewed that I have, because it has 4 motors, one in each tire or each wheel, if you will. What that means is it can essentially travel over any terrain, because if you elevate it, if you get real uneven terrain, one of the wheels, at least one of the wheels, probably 2 hopefully, are going to be touching the ground at the same time, and they can propel you. So it's not like just one of the wheels or 2 of the wheels are propelled. All of them are propelled. All of them are motorized. So incredible power. Top end speed, not so much, and that's not what these are designed for. They're not designed to go 5 million miles per hour. These things top out somewhere in the 20 mile per hour range. And when I say these things, this is the HD4. There's an HD2, which I'll review coming up. I don't have that for review today, but it's similar, just not quite as capable because it only has 2 motors. It's still pretty powerful. It's still military grade equipment. It's very much capable. This one is over the top capable because, again, the 4-wheel power. So the climbing ability of this thing is probably almost any grade you can find, similar to the Swing Car. The last time I talked about was 18 to 20% grade. I don't know if you're going to find a bigger grade around where we're at in Maryland, probably not so much. As you get out west, as you get into severe or higher mountain range than we have on the East Coast, you might find a bigger grade. Maybe there are. This thing could go up it. Same thing with the Swing Car. I would say they're about even. So anyone that's comparing these two, probably most capable at this point produced vehicles that are electric powered for off-roading. Also, what's so cool about this is the whole drive range, all the electronics they built into it. They're made, remember, for over in Israel military, they're military, so sand, dust, water running through, nothing's going to compromise this. I mean, it takes a beating. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking, as they used to say, Timex. I'm showing my age there. So this, the EZRaider, again, you can look all these up on the internet, is commercially available. I believe they come out, at least when I bought them, out of Washington State. They're imported from Israel again. And yours, what you order, what you see on the internet might not look like this. We've done extensive work to it to bring it up to WooFDriver dog grade, if you will. So before I get into too much of the dog aspect, I just want to, again, talk about the suspension. And you'll be able to see it in the videos I link to it. And the capabilities of the equipment. It's got disc brakes, I believe, in each set of wheels. So you actually have to put brake fluid in, similar to a motorcycle or a car, to manage it. again, one from the handle, one set of brakes, the other side of the handle does the other set of brakes. It does have reverse. So depending how the dogs are tethered to this, depending on the equipment I'm using, I can tell them to turn around if we're using just a single tether, and they'll turn around and say, back up, and they turn around and we go in reverse. Really, really nice. It's got a couple different motor speeds. So I'll take my older dogs who are arthritic, just health-related, age-related, health-related issues, and I can put it in a low gear and I don't have to worry about surging it because this thing has so much power. You can cut the motor back and maxed out. If you max the throttle out, you don't have to worry about surging it or riding at an uneven speed because it's only going to go so fast. When you have it opened up, you have a large range, and all that range is accomplished by a lot of torque, and that's why it's so capable of climbing mountains and going over rough terrain because of the torque. Again, not the high-end speed. That's where electric motors go. They're much torqueier, and off the line, if you will, they will fly essentially. They'll go real fast because all that torque is coming at you, but they level off pretty quickly. So this is perfect for running the dogs. That's why I've converted it to that. Now I'll get into more of the dog aspect. You can find more of the specs on EZRaider's website, EZRaider. Again, I'm not endorsed, I'm not paid, I'm not sponsored by any of these companies that I'm reviewing them. This is my personal equipment. I don't sell any of it. I do this for the health of my dogs and for the adventure aspects that my dogs and I and my crew and my wife and everybody that comes along gets out of what we do. So when I originally purchased this from EZRaider in the United States, that imports them from Israel, they actually gave me some ideas. And I don't think they're going to do this for everybody. They're doing this because I'm the WooFDriver, I'm out there, and you know they want to get a little publicity. So they made a bar that essentially is like what I'm going to show you here, but I've elaborated on it, and it's grown, and we've technologically advanced it. But they had a bar with springers. Now, you just want to be careful because if the dogs, when you tether them, if they get past the tires, they get excited, you can take a chance of hitting them. Now, again, you're not talking about a car, you're not, depending on the size of the dog. I'm running Huskies. Any dog that's going to come in contact, it's not going to be a major problem, but you can scare the dog enough that they might not want to do it again. My dogs, at least most of my dogs, once they get on this vehicle, depending if I'm training them with it or not, are usually so advanced that if they brush against the tire, they don't care. But it's all part of how you train them, and I go into more of that on my website, woofdriver.com or dogmotorsports.com. This bar that we have on here, again, it's evolved. And these are bars that we've fabricated, put together, that fit inside. Again, most of this is my invention. You can get these bars. Sometimes they usually come with different scooters, nothing like this. They call just what you would expect a dog scooter, so you can ride the dog on the side. But I've adapted this whole system and developed it with my team. These fit inside of there, and they simply will secure into place using that pin, and the dog goes right here, and we'll show you videos of the dog doing it. These are all how the dog tethers. So almost like drafting, where they go on each side, they're connected on each side. So it keeps them in their range, it keeps them away from the wheel. Excellent if you're training a dog. You won't have any meandering, whatever, over by the wheel. You don't have to worry about it. And for my dogs, I have some younger dogs now that really want to run fast. I'm talking about 18 miles per hour or so on tether to a vehicle like this, pretty quick for them. And this just is a better way of securing them than having them on the traditional Springer I do, because they're so energetic and they've got so much drive. So having them on the sides here really keeps them contained well, safely in their position. They get their head right about there, and they can't come in contact with any other part of the vehicle. Only thing you want to be sure of when you're doing something like this is if they have to stop to go to the bathroom, you're going really fast. Dogs learn to do it while they're going, especially sled dogs. But if it's a new dog, one of my dogs wants to stop, you have to be ready to stop pretty quickly. That's where the braking system and your training as a driver, a WooFDriver, comes into play of how you handle it. But this is really cool. You can see I've got a large, wide spread. So this would not be bike trail worthy. This is for riding in the neighborhood, a quick jaunt. This is for going up and down mountain roads. I can be pretty wide on those because they're still pretty wide roads. They're made for cars. I'm not wider than a car here, but I'm approaching that. And you can see I use a lot of these balls when the dogs are in close quarters of anything that protrudes out, because it protects them. If they would happen to hit it, God forbid they would trip up or anything, they're going to just come in contact with rubber. Nothing protruding, protecting their face, protecting their body. This rubber really helps. And these are just playing balls for dogs, but they stay pretty secure and they provide the amount of protection that I like to keep them safe. So I put lights, and I've talked about these in my other videos, which are really handy. I think they're called Guardian Angel lights. That's the name of the company. And they're a USA company, and these are bright so people behind me can see me, because I'm pretty far out. Again, if I'm going down any road, I like to be lit up, so I want people to know, hey, we've got dogs, especially the widest part of the vehicle where the dog is. That is how I run them on the side. Now, if I want to do something a little different, I want to take this on a trail that, again, this wouldn't be considered a bike. This is a lot more of a ATV vehicle. So bike trails I've been on, nobody's ever complained, but they're probably not the most welcome vehicle. But if there's a narrow trail, almost like I've gone on actually mountain biking trails, because this thing is a lot more capable than a mountain bike. So that's usually a narrow track. And I've developed this bar. So this bar I call a mushing bar. So the mushing bar, this is what I call this. My total invention. Everything you see here is invented by me and my team. And we developed this bar based on this concept over here, where you have a U basically around the dog. And we've made this out of aluminum. That's steel, so it's a lot lighter. As you move away from the vehicle, you want it to be lighter because leverage becomes an issue. This vehicle is never going to tip over because it's pretty heavy. We're talking 400 pounds plus. With me on it, even more than that. So this bar, this mushing bar, allows me to put two dogs in front, in line, and be no wider than the vehicle. So I think what I like to keep these bars is about 34 inches, furthest point to furthest point, because almost all bike trails, anywhere we may take this, is usually 36 inches. Now, when you get to mountain biking trails that are more remote, you can run into smaller tracks than that. So some are going to be doable and some aren't. And you probably can't determine that unless you've been to that trail before and you know where it goes. I can, my dogs, the way I train my dogs, they can navigate almost any terrain. They're not scared of the vehicle once they've been with me for a little while. They're not scared of the terrain. They know they're not going to get hurt. They know to trust me. And it's really an incredible relationship and bond we develop. So anything I throw at them, they're like, okay, let's go. So that works when there's shrubbery or there's brush on each side and it's tighter than the vehicle. The wheels, they can get over anything. The dog can get over anything too. It's just if they want to and how much you want them to go through it. Depending on the situation, sometimes we have no choice. Sometimes there's only option is to turn around. But the dogs, that's why we work with the dogs. You constantly develop your relationship with them, and you understand some of them can, no matter how much the training, can be a little more timid than others. Some of them are just all out front, and you want to realize they're going to go as much as they can. So you want to be a little, hold them back a little bit possibly, and don't let them get overboard. But that's what it's all about, and this is new stuff. Again, nobody else is doing this. That's why I call it dog motorsports. Nobody else even has the concept in mind. If you ask someone what it is, they'll have no idea. But these are motorized dog sports where the dogs are actually tethered to the vehicle in some capacity, and they ride along with the vehicle. Get a lot of exercise. It's similar to a sled dog team using the same concept of pulling. They're not going to be able to pull this rig in no way, just two dogs. But with the motor assistance, they're able to trot along, and they're able to get resistance running in, because on this I'm usually using a roading harness, which is distributing the weight evenly, but they're not going to try to pull it, or they're not going to be as apt to pull it. There's other ways I hook them, which I'll go into other episodes, where they can be on the sides of this bar. This bar essentially is replacing a tow rope that you would see on a sled dog team. So the rope would go up the center, the dogs would be on the side of it. The only problem with that, unless you have a really good lead sled dog, they can get distracted very easily, go to the right, go to the left, on a road, on a busy trail. That's not going to work with the way I train my dogs. If you've got a good lead sled dog and they call it keeping the line out, then that's going to keep it tight, and they're constrained to only so much width. But again, the dogs have to be trained for that, and it's not the way I run dogs. And why I'm showing this is because almost anybody can get involved with the way I do it. Build your own equipment. This is all available at most metal shops. I had my team can make these bars. Again, I'm not selling them, but I'm just trying to show ways that you can run dogs in other capacities. And also, when you get to these higher energy dogs, like I'm talking a husky on steroids, some of mine are like that basically, that you have to find, just running them on the Springer, as I've done for many years, sometimes isn't enough. And that's why we can put them in more of a U-bar setting where they're pulling from both sides, or they're attached on both sides, and they can let more energy out. They can really let it loose basically. So that's there's one more thing I would like to mention before I wrap this up. There's other, and you'll see this when I do the HD2, again, that's a smaller version of this, that's the 2 motor versus the 4 motor, where I have springers attached where they can more free run. Again, you can get just as down in the weeds as you want. You can get just as, pretty much go through most terrain. The dogs are going to run in a different way. That's usually the energetic dogs. Sometimes I leave that vehicle at home because they're going to want to be all over the place, and I want them to be a little more calmer when they're in that capacity, because anything catches their eye, they're on it. Now I train them against that, but anything can happen at any given time. So that's just, I'll go into more detail on that on my next review of the HD2 EZRaider. This vehicle, by the way, there's always a place to put the water. Always carry, this is kind of a first aid bag for dogs. I've got a collar in here that I carry with my different vehicles. And also I always carry these lasso style leashes, because if we run into a dog or a stray dog, I can usually put a leash on it and hopefully get it home to its prospective family or owner. And leashes are always with me like that. And if you take a regular leash and you try to get a dog a collar that's wearing a collar, it could be aggressive. This is kind of just like, you can almost lasso them on, throw it on, and put it on the dog and get the dog under control. Especially, I don't want them coming in contact with my dogs. There's also, we developed this whole hitch system that's not normally on the EZRaider, and this is all built by my team. But this gives me another tray if I want to put a basket there, or I need to carry. Lately, I've been spraying the dogs down, and I've been carrying basically my own spray system if I'm not using my misting system, and I can put that equipment there. So I'm WooFDriver. Again, you're not going to see this anywhere else in the world. Dog Moto Sports. I'm the inventor, and I'm hoping this can carry on. I'm hoping people see this and say, wow, I can do so much with my dog. I can run them in so many different capacities, no matter how much energy or even how small. Remember, some of my bikes, I can take my Chinese Crested, which she's 14 pounds. We've had another Chinese Crested, which was 6 pounds, and I took her on some of the bikes. So this can be done for almost any dog. Even when you're rehabbing a dog, there's all different ways. There's so many ideas that I'm always thinking outside of the box to help dogs live their best lives. And that's what WooFDriver, Dog Motorsports, that's what I'm about. I focus on the Husky breed because that's my breed, because they're so athletic. And again, one of the hardest breeds to train because of all that energy, and they're very misunderstood. People don't know what they're about and how to correctly train them because they don't expel their energy. They say, well, I walk them 3 times a day and I'm walking so many miles. A walk is not going to do it for a Husky. they need to run or they need to trot, depending on their age and their physical fitness. But almost all Huskies got to be doing pretty rigorous physical activity, or they're going to get bored and try to entertain themselves. And they're very intelligent. They'll get into trouble. They'll escape their yard. They're Houdinis, and there becomes a whole litany of problems. So I don't want to see them. They're one of the most abandoned and surrendered breeds because of this, and I don't want to see that continue. And that's another reason, giving ideas, showing ideas, and educating people on the potential of them and how to curb that energy. So I'm WooFDriver. Hope you enjoyed this session, this episode. Look forward to seeing you on another one. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. WooFDriver signing off.